All right, let's get right into it. Today we are looking at a huge legal case that really truly changed the relationship between a person and the government here in the UK. And believe it or not, it all started with a fight over letters sent to a prison.
So think about this for a second. Can a prison guard just open and read a letter from your lawyer? It sounds like a simple question, right? But the answer gets to the very heart of what makes our justice system fair. I mean, if your freedom is on the line, how private should your communication with your lawyer actually be? That exact question is what this whole case is about.
So let's set the scene. It's 2001, and our main character is a prisoner named Mr. Daly. He finds out about this new prison policy where guards are going to inspect his mail from his lawyer. But here's the kicker. They were going to do it when he wasn't even in the room. This meant they could read every word of his confidential legal advice. And, well, Mr. Daly wasn't having it. He decided to challenge.
And the entire case rested on this really important idea: legal professional privilege. Now, this isn't just about keeping secrets. It's a fundamental right. It's the bedrock that allows you to be totally honest with your lawyer without being terrified that everything you say will get back to the other side, which, in this situation, is the government itself. It's absolutely essential for a fair trial.
Okay, so for Mr. Daly to actually win his case, he had this enormous legal wall to climb. For years and years, the way you challenged a government decision was by using a test called Wensbury unreasonableness. And trust me, it was a tough one. So what on earth does that mean? Well, it means the bar was set incredibly high. A court could only overturn a policy if it was just completely, outrageously bonkers. It wasn't about asking if the policy was fair or if it struck the right balance. Nope. It was just, is this decision so illogical that no sane person would have made it? As you can imagine, this gave the government a massive amount of power. But the legal landscape was shifting. The brand new Human Rights Act had just come into play, and it brought with it a totally different way of thinking, straight from European law. It was called the principle of proportionality, and this was about to be the hero of our story.
And when you put these two tests side by side, the difference is just wow. The old Wensbury test was super hands-off, right? It just asked if a decision was totally irrational. But proportionality, it's way more intense. It forces a real balancing act. It asks, is what the government is doing actually necessary? Does it go too far? It makes the government justify every single part of its actions.
So here's how proportionality actually works. It's like a three-step checklist. First, is the government trying to do something legitimate? You know, like stopping crime in prisons. Okay, fair enough. Second, does the policy actually help do that? Maybe. But then you get to the killer third question. Are the means you're using no more than is absolutely necessary? Is this the least intrusive way to get the job done? Is it proportionate? So all of this came to a head when Mr. Daly's case went all the way to the top, the House of Lords. And when they looked at the case, they didn't reach for that old, weak Wensbury test. No, they used this new, much more powerful tool, proportionality. And the result? The court sided with Mr. Daly. They declared that this blanket policy of checking legal mail without the prisoner present was, in fact, unlawful. It was a massive victory for individual rights. And you can see their thinking right here in this quote from Lord Steyne. What he's basically saying is, look, we get it. Preventing smuggling in prisons is a valid goal. But this policy, it's a sledgehammer to crack a nut. The damage done to this fundamental right was just way too big for the problem it was trying to solve. There had to be better, less intrusive ways to do it. So why are we still talking about a case involving prison mail all these years later? Because its legacy, its impact, went way beyond the prison system. What it really did was forge a completely new relationship between the courts and the government. The Daly case pretty much made proportionality the new gold standard for any case involving human rights. And this is the part that affects all of us. It put real teeth into the Human Rights Act. It forced public authorities to stop and think really hard about whether their policies are genuinely justified. It gave our courts the power to properly examine government actions that mess with our freedoms, and in doing so, it shifted that balance of power, just a little bit, back towards the individual.
And that leaves us with the big question that the Daly case puts front and center, a question that is just as relevant today as it was back then. In any society, there's this constant push and pull, isn't there, between the state's need for security and our individual need for freedom. Proportionality doesn't give us an easy answer, but it does give us an absolutely crucial framework for trying to find that very delicate and constantly shifting balance.